Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to ask you something simple, but very deep. Why do some people stay strong in every situation, while others break, stop, and give up? Maybe you feel this too. You start something with hope, but when problems come, your mind becomes heavy. You feel fear, you feel doubt, you feel like you cannot win. And slowly, you stop trying. But what if the problem is not your life? What if the problem is your mind? Today, we will change that. This video will help you train your mind, not just to feel good, but to stay strong, calm, and powerful in every situation, even when life is hard, even when no one supports you. Comment if you've ever felt this way. And if you stay with me till the end, you will not just understand your mind. You will start to control it. You will feel stronger. You will feel ready. And slowly, you will start winning, even in the situations where you used to lose. Chapter 1. The voice inside you. There is something inside you that speaks all the time. Even now as you listen to me, there is a voice in your mind. Sometimes it is soft, sometimes it is loud, sometimes it helps you. But many times, it stops you. This voice says, you are not ready. It says, you will fail. It says, others are better than you. And slowly, without knowing, you start believing it. Think about one moment in your life. A moment when you wanted to do something. Maybe you wanted to speak English. Maybe you wanted to talk to someone. Maybe you wanted to try something new. But then, something stopped you. You did not even try. Was it the situation? Or was it your mind? Most people think life is difficult. But the truth is, their mind makes life difficult. Because the voice inside them is not trained. It is wild. It is negative. It is afraid. And here's the truth that can change everything. Your mind is like a muscle. If you do not train it, it becomes weak. If you train it, it becomes strong. Right now, your mind is trained by fear, by past failures, by what people said to you, by what you saw around you. And that is why in difficult situations, your mind does not support you. It pulls you down. But imagine something different. Imagine a mind that says, I can try. Imagine a mind that says, I will not stop. Imagine a mind that stays calm even when everything is going wrong. This is not magic. This is training. Let me tell you a simple story. There was a boy. He was not very smart. He was not very confident. In school, he was always quiet. When the teacher asked questions, he knew some answers, but he never raised his hand. Why? Because his mind told him, you will be wrong. Everyone will laugh. One day, the teacher asked a very easy question. The boy knew the answer. His heart was beating fast, his hands were cold, and his mind again said, stay quiet. But this time, something small happened. He said to himself, very softly, maybe I can try. That was all. Just one small sentence. He raised his hand, he answered, and yes, he made a small mistake. Some students smiled, but something bigger happened inside him. He did not break. That day, he learned something very powerful. Not about the subject, but about his mind. He learned that the voice inside him was not always right. This is your first lesson. Your mind lies to you. It tells you that you are weak. It tells you that you cannot do it. It tells you to stay safe. But safety is not growth, and comfort is not winning. If you want to win in every situation, you must first understand this. You are not your thoughts. This is very important. Listen carefully. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts come and go. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. But you are the one who listens. And if you can listen, you can also choose. This is where training starts. Next time your mind says, I can't, stop for a moment. Do not fight. Do not panic. Just say, maybe I can try. This is a small change, but small changes create big results. Winning does not start outside. It starts inside. Before you win in life, you must win in your mind. And the moment you start changing that voice, slowly, quietly, your whole life begins to change. Because the strongest person is not the one who never feels fear. The strongest person is the one who trains their mind to move forward, even with fear. And that person can be you. Chapter 2. Your mind is always learning. There is something very interesting about your mind. It is always learning. Every day, every moment. Even when you are not trying, your mind is watching, listening, and copying. It learns from your actions. It learns from your thoughts. It learns from your reactions. And slowly, without you knowing, it builds habits inside you. Think about your daily life. When something goes wrong, what do you do? Do you stay calm or do you panic? Do you try again or do you stop? Do you believe in yourself or do you doubt everything? These reactions are not random. They are learned. Your mind has been trained by your past. If in the past you stopped many times, your mind learned to stop. If in the past you were afraid, your mind learned to fear. If in the past you avoided problems, your mind learned to run away. And now, in new situations, your mind repeats the same pattern. This is why many people feel stuck. They think they are not strong. They think they are not smart. But the truth is, they are just repeating old training. And here comes a powerful idea. If your mind can learn bad habits, it can also learn strong habits. This means you can change. You are not fixed. You are not broken. You are not finished. You are in training. Let me show you something simple. Imagine two people in the same situation. Both lose something important. Maybe a job, maybe a chance, maybe a relationship. The first person says, "This is the end. I am not good enough." The second person says, "This is hard, but I will learn and try again." Same situation, different mind. And because of that, different future, the first person stops, the second person grows. So what is the difference? It is not luck, it is not talent, it is training. One mind is trained to give up, the other mind is trained to move forward. Now ask yourself something honestly. What is your mind trained to do? This question is not easy, but it is very important, because if you do not see the truth, you cannot change it. Maybe your mind is trained to overthink. Maybe your mind is trained to fear mistakes. Maybe your mind is trained to wait for the perfect moment, and that is why you feel stuck again and again. But listen carefully. You do not need a perfect moment. You need a trained mind. This is your second lesson. Your mind learns from repetition. What you repeat becomes your reality. If you repeat negative thoughts, your mind becomes negative. If you repeat fear, your mind becomes afraid. If you repeat action, your mind becomes strong. So the question is not, how do I feel? The question is, what do I repeat every day? Let me tell you a small real-life reflection. There was a man who wanted to improve his English. Every day he watched videos. Every day he understood many words. But when he tried to speak, he became silent. Why? Because his mind was trained to listen, not to speak. So he changed one small thing. Every day, for just 5 minutes, he spoke. Even if his sentences were broken, even if he made mistakes, even if no one was there. At first, it felt uncomfortable. His mind said, "This is wrong, stop." But he continued. Day after day, he repeated the action. And slowly, something changed. His mind started accepting speaking as normal. His fear became smaller. His confidence became stronger. Nothing magical happened outside. Everything changed inside. This is how training works. It is slow, it is simple, but it is powerful. And here is a line you must remember. Your mind does not care what is good for you. Your mind only follows what you repeat. This is a retention moment. Listen again. Your mind does not care what is good for you. Your mind only follows what you repeat. So if you repeat doubt, you will feel doubt. If you repeat action, you will become powerful. Now you understand something very deep. Winning is not about one big moment. Winning is about small daily training. Every time you choose to try, instead of stopping, you train your mind. Every time you stay calm instead of panicking, you train your mind. Every time you move forward with fear, you train your mind. And slowly, your mind becomes your partner, not your enemy. Because right now, for many people, their mind is their biggest problem. But it does not have to be like this. You can train it. You can guide it. You can build it. And once your mind learns to stay strong, every situation becomes easier. Not because life is easy, but because you are stronger. Chapter 3. Control your reaction. Control your life. Life does not ask you before it changes. It does not wait for you to feel ready. Sometimes things happen suddenly. A problem comes, a plan fails. Someone says something that hurts you. And in that moment, you react. Fast, without thinking, without control. And later, you sit alone and think, why did I react like that? This is where most people lose. Not because the situation was too hard, but because their reaction was not trained. Listen carefully. You cannot control everything that happens in your life, but you can control how you react. And that changes everything. Think about a simple moment. Someone speaks to you in a rude way. Maybe they insult you. Maybe they ignore you. Maybe they say something that makes you feel small. In that moment, your heart beats faster. Your face becomes warm. Your mind starts shouting. Say something back. Get angry. Show them who you are. And without thinking, you react. You speak in anger. You feel bad, and the situation becomes worse. Now imagine a different reaction. The same situation, the same words, the same moment. But this time, you pause. Just for a few seconds. You take a breath. You feel the emotion, but you do not let it control you. You say something calm, or maybe you say nothing at all, and you walk away with peace inside you. Same situation, different reaction, different result. This is your third lesson. Your reaction is your power. Most people think power means controlling others, but real power is controlling yourself. When you control your reaction, you control your mind. When you control your mind, you control your life. But this is not easy because your reactions are automatic. They are fast. They come from your past, from your habits, from your emotions. So how do you change this? You train. Let me tell you something very real. There was a man who got angry very easily. Small things made him upset. If someone was late, he became angry. If something did not go his way, he became angry. His mind was trained to react fast and loud. One day, he decided to change. Not everything. Not his whole life. Just one thing. His reaction. The next time something went wrong, he did not speak immediately. He counted slowly in his mind. 1, 2, 3. It felt strange. It felt difficult. His mind was shouting, "React now," but he waited. That small pause changed everything. Because in that pause, he had a choice. He could react with anger, or he could respond with control. Day after day, he practiced this. Sometimes he failed. Sometimes he reacted again, but he did not stop. He kept training. And slowly, his reactions changed. He became calmer, stronger, more in control. People around him started noticing. But the biggest change was inside him. He felt peace. This is what happens when you train your reaction. You stop being a prisoner of your emotions, and you become the leader of your mind. Now think about your own life. How many times do you react without thinking? How many times do your emotions control your actions? How many times do you regret what you said or did? These moments are not mistakes. They are training opportunities. Every situation is a chance to train your reaction. When something goes wrong, your mind will push you to react fast. But you can choose something different. You can pause. This is your tool. Pause. It sounds simple, but it is powerful. When you pause, you break the automatic reaction. When you pause, you create space. When you pause, you take control. And in that small space, you decide who you want to be. Do you want to be controlled by anger or guided by calm? Do you want to be weak in the moment or strong in your response? This is a retention moment. Listen carefully. You do not lose because of the situation. You lose because of your reaction. And when you change your reaction, you start winning. Even in hard moments. Let me give you another reflection. Imagine you fail at something. Maybe a test, maybe a goal, maybe something you worked hard for. Your first reaction might be, "I am not good enough." You feel heavy. You feel low. You want to stop. But what if you train a new reaction? Instead of saying, "I failed," you say, "I learned." Instead of saying, "I cannot," you say, "I will try again." Same failure, new reaction. And because of that, a new future. This is how winners think. Not because they never fail, but because they react differently to failure. They use it. They learn from it. They grow through it. And slowly, they become stronger than the situation. You can do the same. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be aware. Next time something happens, do not rush. Pause. Feel. Think. Then act. This small habit can change your whole life. Because when your reaction changes, your direction changes. And when your direction changes, your life changes. Chapter 4. Stop feeding fear. Fear is quiet at first. It does not come to you as a loud voice. It comes slowly. It comes as a small feeling, a small doubt, a small hesitation. And most of the time, you do not even notice it. But the more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. Think about the last time you wanted to do something new. Maybe you wanted to speak in English. Maybe you wanted to start something important. Maybe you wanted to step out of your comfort zone. But before you even tried something, inside you said, "What if you fail?" That one question stopped you. This is how fear works. It does not fight you directly. It makes you imagine things. It makes you see problems before they happen. It makes you feel weak before you even start. And slowly, without action, you lose. But listen carefully. Fear grows when you feed it. Every time you avoid something, fear becomes stronger. Every time you say, "Not today," fear becomes bigger. Every time you choose comfort over action, fear wins. And one day, you wake up and feel like you cannot move forward at all. But here is the truth that can change your life. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a signal. It shows you where you need to grow. When you feel fear, it means you are standing at the edge of something new, something bigger, something important. But instead of moving forward, most people step back. And that is why they stay the same. Let me tell you something very real. There was a girl who wanted to speak English. She understood many things. She listened every day. But when it was time to speak, she stayed silent. Her heart beat fast. Her hands felt cold. And her mind said, "You will make mistakes. People will judge you." So she stopped. Day after day, she watched others speak. She waited for the perfect moment. She thought one day she would feel ready. But that day never came. Because fear does not go away when you wait. It grows. One day, she made a small decision. Not a big change, not a perfect plan, just one small step. She decided to speak one sentence, just one. Her voice was not strong, her sentence was not perfect. She made mistakes, but she did it. And something very powerful happened. The fear did not disappear, but it became smaller. The next day, she spoke again. 2 sentences this time, then 3, then more. Slowly, she started feeling different. Not because fear was gone, but because she stopped feeding it. This is your 4th lesson. You do not remove fear by thinking. You remove fear by action. This is a retention moment. Listen deeply. The more you think about fear, the bigger it becomes. The more you act with fear, the smaller it becomes. Most people are waiting to feel confident before they act. But confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Confidence follows action. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. If you start before you feel ready, you will grow faster than you think. Now think about your life again. What are you avoiding right now? What are you afraid to try? What is that one thing you keep delaying? That is your training ground. That is where your growth is waiting. Fear will always give you reasons to stop. It will say, "This is not the right time." It will say, "You need more preparation." It will say, "What if you fail?" But behind all these words, there is only one thing. Fear wants you to stay the same. And if you listen to it, you will stay exactly where you are. But you are not here to stay the same. You are here to grow. You are here to win. And winning does not mean no fear. Winning means moving forward, even when fear is there. Let me give you a simple tool. Next time you feel fear, do not run. Do not hide. Just say one sentence to yourself. This is my chance to grow. Feel the fear, accept it, and take one small step. Not a big step, not a perfect step, just one step. Because small steps break big fears. And step by step, your mind learns something new. It learns that fear is not dangerous. It learns that you can handle it. It learns that you are stronger than it thought. And slowly, your mind changes. You stop seeing fear as a stop sign. You start seeing fear as a green signal. A signal that says, "Go. This is where you grow." And when you reach this point, everything becomes different. You start trying more. You start learning more. You start becoming more. Because you are no longer controlled by fear. You are training your mind to move forward in every situation. And that is how winners are made. Not by removing fear, but by refusing to feed it. Chapter 5. Build a strong inner identity. There is something very powerful inside you. It is not your body. It is not your skills. It is not even your knowledge. It is something deeper. It is the way you see yourself. It is your inner identity. This is how you quietly answer one simple question. Who am I? Most people never think about this. They just live. They follow habits. They react to situations. But deep inside, there is a belief, a silent belief that controls everything. Some people believe, I am weak. Some believe, I always fail. Some believe, I am not good enough. And when you believe something like this, your actions follow. If you believe you are weak, you avoid challenges. If you believe you fail, you stop trying. If you believe you are not good enough, you stay small. This is how identity works. You do not act first and then believe. You believe first, and then you act. This is your fifth lesson. Your identity shapes your reality. This is a retention moment. Listen again. Your identity shapes your reality. If you see yourself as someone who gives up, you will give up. If you see yourself as someone who tries, you will try. If you see yourself as someone who wins, you will find ways to win. Now ask yourself honestly, what is your current identity? Maybe you see yourself as someone who is shy. Maybe you see yourself as someone who is always late. Maybe you see yourself as someone who cannot speak English. These are not facts. These are beliefs. And beliefs can change. Let me tell you a simple but powerful story. There was a man who always said, I am not confident. Every time he faced a new situation, he remembered this belief, and because of that, he stayed quiet. He avoided people. He missed many chances. One day, he heard something that changed his thinking. He heard, act like the person you want to become. At first, it felt strange. It felt fake. His mind said, this is not you. But he tried. In small ways. When he walked a little straighter. When he spoke, he tried to speak a little clearer. When he felt fear, he said, I am learning to be confident. Notice this. He did not say, I am confident. He said, I am learning. This small change made it real, made it possible. Day after day, he repeated this new identity, and slowly, something changed. His actions started matching his new belief. His mind started accepting it. His confidence started growing, not because he became a different person, but because he built a new identity. This is how you train your mind at a deeper level. You do not just change actions, you change who you believe you are. Now think about this. If you say, I want to win, it is good. But if you say, I am someone who keeps going, it is powerful, because goals are temporary. Identity is permanent. If your identity is strong, you will keep moving, even when you fail. If your identity is weak, you will stop, even when things are easy. So what should you do? You start building your identity, one sentence at a time. Not big, impossible sentences. Simple, real, strong sentences. I am someone who tries every day. I am someone who does not stop easily. I am learning to stay calm. I am becoming stronger. These are not lies. These are directions. Every time you repeat them, you guide your mind. Every time you act on them, you build your identity. And slowly, your old identity becomes weaker. Let me give you another reflection. Imagine two people learning English. The first person says, I am bad at English. The second person says, I am learning English every day. Same situation, different identity. The first person feels heavy. The second person feels hopeful. The first person stops. The second person continues. And after some time, the second person improves. Not because they were better, but because they believed something different. This is the secret. Winners do not just act differently. They see themselves differently. They believe, I am the kind of person who keeps going. And because of that, they do not stop. You can build this too. You do not need a perfect past. You do not need special talent. You just need to choose a new identity and start living it. Yes, at first it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will say, this is not true. Your habits will pull you back. But do not stop, because identity is not built in one day. It is built in small daily actions. Every time you act like the person you want to become, you become that person a little more. And one day, you will look back and realize something amazing. You are no longer the same person. You are stronger. You are calmer. You are more in control because you trained your mind not just to act, but to believe. And when your belief changes, everything changes. Chapter 6. Stay consistent. When it gets hard, there is a moment in every journey when things stop feeling exciting. In the beginning, everything feels new. You feel motivated. You feel ready. You make plans. You take action. And for a short time, you feel strong. But then something changes. The excitement becomes normal. The energy becomes low. The results feel slow. And suddenly, your mind starts talking again. This is too hard. This is not working. Maybe this is not for me. This is the moment where most people stop, not because they cannot continue, but because they do not feel like continuing. This is your sixth lesson. Winning is not about starting strong. Winning is about staying consistent when it gets hard. This is a retention moment. Listen carefully. Motivation starts the journey. Consistency finishes it. Most people depend on motivation. They wait to feel good before they act. But feelings change. Some days you feel strong. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel confident. Some days you feel lost. If you only act when you feel good, you will stop very soon, because life is not always easy, and your mind is not always positive. So what should you do? You build consistency. Consistency means you show up, even when you do not feel like it. Consistency means you take action, even when it feels boring. Consistency means you keep going, even when progress is slow. Let me tell you a simple but powerful story. There was a man who wanted to change his life. He started with full energy. Every day he worked hard. Every day he followed his routine. For 1 week, everything was perfect. Then one day, he felt tired. He thought, "Today I will rest. Tomorrow I will start again." 1 day became 2 days. 2 days became 1 week. And slowly, he returned to his old life. This happens to many people. Not because they are weak, but because they break their consistency. Now imagine something different. Imagine if that man, on that tired day, did just a little. Not a big effort, not a perfect routine, just a small step. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe one simple task. That small action would keep the chain alive. Because consistency is not about doing everything. It is about not stopping. This is very important. Do not focus on being perfect. Focus on being consistent. Perfection makes you stop. Consistency makes you grow. Now think about your own life. How many times did you start something and then stop? How many times did you feel excited and then lose energy? How many times did you wait for the right mood to continue? This pattern is not your fault. It is just untrained behavior. But now you understand something new. You do not need to feel ready. You need to act anyway. Even on your worst day, do something small. Because small action keeps your identity alive. Remember chapter 5? If your identity is, "I am someone who keeps going," then you must act like it. Not only on good days, but especially on hard days. This is where real growth happens. Let me give you a deep reflection. Imagine a person who goes to the gym. On good days, they train hard. On bad days, they still show up, but do a light workout. After 1 month, they are stronger. Now imagine another person. On good days, they train hard. On bad days, they skip completely. After 1 month, they feel stuck. The difference is not strength. The difference is consistency. And the same rule applies to your mind. Every day you train your mind, it becomes stronger. Every day you stop, it becomes weaker. So what should you do from today? You make a simple rule. No 0 days. This means every day you do something. Even if it is small, even if it feels useless, even if no one sees it. Because these small actions are not small. They are building your future. And slowly, something powerful happens. Your mind stops asking, "Do I feel like it?" Your mind starts saying, "This is who I am." And when this happens, you become unstoppable. Because now, your actions are not based on mood. They are based on identity. And identity is strong. Let me give you one more retention moment. You do not fail because it is hard. You fail because you stop. So do not stop. Slow down if you need. Rest if you need. But do not break your consistency. Because the person who keeps going always reaches somewhere powerful. And that person is becoming you. Chapter 7. Become calm in chaos. Life will not always be peaceful. There will be noise. There will be pressure. There will be moments when everything feels out of control. Problems will come at the same time. People will expect things from you. Time will feel short. And in those moments, your mind can either break or become powerful. Most people lose in chaos. Not because the situation is impossible, but because their mind becomes noisy. When everything is happening fast, their thoughts become faster. They overthink. They panic. They feel lost. And in that state, they cannot think clearly. They cannot act wisely. They cannot move forward. But there are some people who stay calm. Even when things go wrong, they stay steady. Even when others panic, they stay focused. Even when the situation is hard, they keep moving. And because of this, they win. This is your 7th lesson. Calm is your greatest strength in chaos. This is a retention moment. Listen deeply. When you lose your calm, you lose your control. When you keep your calm, you keep your power. Now you may think, but how can I stay calm when everything is going wrong? The answer is simple, but it needs practice. You train your mind to slow down. Let me show you what usually happens. A problem comes. Immediately your mind starts creating many thoughts. What will happen now? This is too much. I cannot handle this. Your breathing becomes fast. Your body becomes tense. Your focus breaks. And now, even a small problem feels big. But what if you change one thing? Not the situation, but your state. The next time chaos comes, do not rush. Pause. Take a slow breath, feel the moment, and say to yourself, I will handle this step by step. This is not just a sentence. This is control. Because when you slow your breath, your mind also slows down. When your mind slows down, your thoughts become clear. When your thoughts are clear, your actions become better. Let me tell you a simple but powerful story. There was a man working in a busy office. One day, everything went wrong. Deadlines were close. People were asking questions. Problems were coming one after another. Everyone around him was stressed. Some were shouting, some were blaming others, some were giving up. But this man did something different. He did not rush. He sat for a moment, closed his eyes, took a deep breath, then he opened his eyes and started solving one problem at a time. Not everything at once. Just one step. Slowly, calmly, clearly. After some time, the situation improved. Work was done. Problems were solved. People looked at him and said, "How were you so calm?" He smiled and said, "I trained my mind not to panic." This is the difference. Calm people are not born calm. They are trained. Now think about your life. When problems come, what do? Do you try to fix everything at once? Do you let your thoughts run fast? Do you feel pressure and stop? Or do you slow down and take control? You do not need to remove chaos from your life. That is not possible. But you can become calm inside chaos. And when you reach this level, you become very powerful. Because now, no situation can break you. You become like a strong tree in a storm. The wind comes, the rain falls, the noise is loud, but the tree stays. It bends, but it does not break. That is you when your mind is trained. Let me give you a simple practice. Every day, take a few minutes to sit quietly. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Feel the air going in and going out. Do not try to control your thoughts. Just watch them. At first, it will feel difficult. Your mind will run everywhere, but slowly, you will learn to stay still. And this stillness will come with you in difficult moments. So when chaos comes, you will not panic. You will pause. You will breathe. You will act. This is the final step in training your mind. Not just to be strong, not just to be consistent, but to be calm when everything is not. Because in the end, winning is not about having a perfect life. Winning is about having a trained mind. A mind that does not break under pressure. A mind that does not stop because of fear. A mind that keeps going in every situation. And now, step by step, you are becoming that person.